Everything you do comes from the desire to escape discomfort. Nir Eyal, the author of Indistractable. I have a good amount of hours in my day going into reading manga and scrolling on my phone. And sometimes I ask myself while I'm doing this, am I even having fun? And the answer is usually not really. Distractions, scrolling, binging, it's all to escape the discomfort of what we set ourselves to do. I found this podcast with Nir Eyal, and he goes over this 10-minute rule that has been game-changing for me. If you struggle with starting difficult or complicated work, or just get distracted too easily, let me show you how the 10-minute rule can save you hours of your day. But first, it's important to understand how and why the procrastination cycle starts. Distraction is often blamed on things outside of us, like our phones, computers, etc. But he says 90% of the distractions come from inside of us. It's the sudden urge to check our phones, scroll when we should be working, or just the aching feeling to take a break. These are called internal triggers. We feel uncomfortable and our response is to distract ourselves, leading to procrastination. So we feel an internal trigger and then we go to distractions. Internal triggers themselves have two parts: the action that triggers the discomfort and then the emotion and discomfort itself. So we try to do something, it triggers an emotion or discomfort, and then that leads us to distraction. You can't really change the actions that you need to do. Some tasks require you to do certain things to be finished, and also changing the distraction doesn't help as well. Even if it's somewhat productive in a way, it still counts as a distraction, regardless if it's scrolling on your phone or doing the laundry. The advice I was given before was to start moving distractions, but you can start to see why this might not work. The link between discomfort and distraction is already set. If you start doing something uncomfortable, no matter what it is, you'll get an urge to run away from it. Removing distractions allow me to have, periods of time where I have good focus, but it usually only lasts until, you unblock the thing or re-download the game. Here's when you can implement the 10-minute rule. The 10-minute rule states that you can allow yourself to cave into whatever you're craving. Food, games, movies, but you have to wait 10 minutes. In the meantime, you can try to do what you need to do, or you can allow yourself to sit with the urge and do nothing. What we're trying to do here is activate the internal trigger, but not go to the distraction. In these 10 minutes, I usually try my best to focus. Yes, it can be hard, but knowing that you just have to sit there for, 10 minutes makes it a lot easier to sit down just for a little bit. And even if I allow myself to distract in 10 minutes, it's not a requirement like Pomodoro, right? I'll find myself continuing for 30 minutes to an hour until I hit the next roadblock. And even if you do cave in at 10 minutes, here's why going through the process is still worth it. Since we're creating space between when you feel something and then distracting yourself from it, you start to gain control of your pain and emotions that used to take control of you. Instead of instantly reaching for your phone, you're learning to control what you do about it and what you do about your emotions. And since you're willingly doing it yourself, you're the one that gains control. You also start to take advantage of the Super Mario effect. Most people beat themselves up for caving in, and it makes them feel even worse, creating this self-fulfilling cycle of more urges to distract themselves. You shouldn't penalize yourself or shame yourself for wanting a cookie or wanting to play games. Rather, what this does is it rewards you for being able to wait 10 minutes, even though it's technically a failure, right? Even if you aren't able to focus for those 10 minutes, it's much more motivating to try again because you're not just beating yourself up. The most important thing, however, is that it gives you space. These 10 minutes allow you to start thinking about what your goals are, why you're trying to do this task, the consequences of doing this task, why you even want to go to that distraction in the first place. For example, whenever I'm writing, I tend to click off into different tabs because, brainstorming isn't very easy for me. So I get uncomfortable and try to click on different tabs and find a video to watch. But the thing is, I'm never actually in the mood to watch a video. I'm just doing it out of habit because that's what I do to clear the frustration of not being able to think. So this is when it's great to add things like YouTube filters and, deleting your games, because it catches you off guard when you're trying to click tabs and see that you can't click a video, right? At least during your work time. And eventually you can start to catch yourself from distracting. Using this 10-minute rule, you start to take control of your reactions to discomfort and your emotions, which is a big reason to why you seek distraction in the first place. At least for me. So if you need to get work done, but you just really want to go do something else, allow yourself to cave into that distraction, but just in 10 minutes. Sit there, do the work for 10 minutes, see how you feel, and see what happens after 10 minutes. Hope this helps. Subscribe and take care.